But we had been actually searching for a property for about 4 years, and we would take Sunday drives, just driving around the countryside kind of thing. And I remember when we drove down this road and we saw the sign up for sale, and we were like, oh. The house was a little beat up at the time, but the 5 acres, it was wide open kind of thing.
I remember thinking, 5 acres is so much land. How are we going to take care of it? Just fast forward a little bit, 5 acres was nothing.
In the 20 years they've been here, Stephanie and Robert have doubled the size and production of Little by Little Farm.
Part of the reason that we bought this house was because it was a cornfield and there wasn't going to be neighbors.
We bought the farm initially to get away.
And then the community started popping up, and we just had to embrace it.
We started meeting the neighbors back there. Their reply as to why they bought it was similar to why we bought it, because they have an organic farm in their backyard.
Little by little, Stephanie and Robert were building a dream that would end up supporting not only their own family, but the entire community.
At the time, our kids were young, and I really wanted them to learn that food doesn't come from the supermarket. We want to be an option for people if they want to buy organic produce, if they want to buy vegetables that are really fresh, or strawberries that were picked that morning.
I mean, they can literally walk a couple hundred steps and here they are in this organic farm. They walk along the fence, we keep it mowed down for them. They buy their eggs, honey, produce.
This is almost like a park. They have a little bit of a connection with nature.
A couple little boys from the neighborhood rode their bikes down and they had $5 in their pocket and they wanted to buy their mom something. So we got some tomatoes for them and some strawberries. They helped us pick it, they helped us package it, and then the boys got on their bike, rode back, and that's just what it's about.
My mom was from Southern Illinois, and she moved to Puerto Rico, and I remember the first time I visited my grandparents' farm. This is great, this is fantastic. My grandmother's garden was probably like 100 feet by 100 feet. It was huge because they made everything on the farm. And just to see, you know, from soil to harvest to on the table, that was so cool to be able to see that, yeah, and understand that whole cycle.
We bought this 5 acres, not really to farm, just to have the privacy. And then as the name goes, little by little, we got a goat, then we got another goat, then we got chickens, and it just kind of snowballed. We
started out with a dozen chickens, blue egg layers. Americana is the breed. We have now about 300 chickens. Here we have about 350 turkeys right now. We have a bunch of goats. We made cheese with some of the milk from the goats. They also like to eat the poison ivy that's out in the field, so, you know, double help. And then we have 2 llamas.
CJ and Rowdy.
And the llamas are the guardians of the goats and the turkeys, and so they keep the foxes and the coyotes away from everything. So everybody has a reason to be. People have always asked me, well, why goats? And I say, well, goats are like Labrador retrievers with horns. You know, they're just goofy and silly kind of thing and can be stubborn.
And they do yoga. Just one more delight Little by Little Farm now offers the community.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Amanda. I will be your instructor. I'll be honest, I know that you're here for them. So if your yoga is just hanging out and loving on the goats, please feel free.
This is a very interactive practice, I have to say. Okay, you can do it, you can do it. Come on. Come on. Yes. Okay, come on. All right, it's kind of hard for me to lower. This is the best exercise ever. It's also really hard. I'm sorry, honey. Yeah, you did great. You did great. Okay.
Into downward dog when you're ready.
Sorry, guys. Apologize for interrupting your zen.
After goat yoga, we caught up with some of the neighbors.
We moved to here about 4 years ago, and I discovered this farm just kind of by walking back here. It's about a 5-minute walk from my doorstep. This has been kind of a lifesaver for me in a lot of respects. We travel a lot, and I can't always get to the farmer's market, but they're always willing to make a special order for me of things that I might need for the week. So it's really nice that I can keep having fresh organic produce and keep feeding my family lots of healthy things. Definitely the best strawberries. We call them our special strawberries in our house. You have to eat every single one of them, enjoy every single one of them. They also go for a really long time. They are able to produce them well into the fall, which is a treat.
So I've been hearing all about these incredible strawberries. I feel like we need to find some.
So let's look for a good strawberry.
So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sweetness.
Robert, how do you do this? Oh my gosh. This is like what a strawberry should taste like.
It's not easy to grow strawberries like these in Indiana's climate, but they had a little help from their friends.
The crew, they are family amongst themselves, 2 fathers, 2 sons, and a son-in-law. And they are truly family. When they first came to the farm, they were ready to bring their habits and their knowledge from Guatemala, which meant strawberries. But in Indiana, we don't really grow strawberries. And they said, oh, we can grow strawberries here.
Pues la verdad ya desde pequeños hemos trabajado y sabemos las responsabilidades que tenemos nosotros en cada producto. Sabemos a los cuantos días da la fresa, a los cuantos días da todo producto, ya tenemos programado.
He's really proud that Stephanie and I have trusted them to know what has to be done on a daily basis.
When the crew are doing a project, like for example, the chicken coop behind us, they'll let me know we need to make a trip to Lowe's and we're not happy about it. They don't like to buy things either if they can repurpose it.
Uno de los retos más grandes que yo he visto aquí es que cada día son nuevas cosas que de las plantas. Aquí vemos que el orgánico lo hace crecer, lo hace dar fruto, lo madura y pues es algo maravilloso, ¿verdad? Porque en Guatemala se le echa un químico para crecer, otro químico para el fruto y aquí no, aquí el orgánico es bien y...
Good and relatively simple.
Plastic sheeting over the rows, so that cuts down on weed growth. We have drippers underneath each of the plastic rows. We use less water, a lot less water. And then in the middle, we have straw, and that also keeps down the weeds.
How do you keep the bugs off these delicious babies?
So we use neem oil, which is from a tree native to India. It's not an insecticide or herbicide. It just tastes bad to them. The bees don't care because the bees are not wanting to eat the leaves. The bees are going after the flowers, but then all the other bugs stay away.
Amazing.
The key thing is our bees. Bees pollinate everything. Bees are very crucial to us. And we started thinking, if we're spraying chemicals on the plants and so forth and on the flowers, the bees are gonna pick up those chemicals and then they're gonna put it into honey. And so we said, yeah, we don't want that to happen. All right, well, we're not gonna use chemicals. What about fertilizer? What are we gonna do with fertilizer? Well, you know, the poop from the chickens and the turkeys and the goats, we said, there's your fertilizer. And so it's a loop, it's a continuous loop. You know, the bees pollinate the flowers that make the strawberries. The leaves, when they die in the fall, we'll plow them under, you know, and get ready for the spring again. And, you know, everything comes back up to life. So it's just that cycle.
And part of that cycle is sharing the harvest.
Me siento muy orgulloso. Me siento orgulloso de trabajar aquí en esta finca de Lero Bailero.
We are going to a local restaurant, an organic restaurant called Traders Point Creamery. They are 4 miles from Little by Little Farm. So on Monday, I send them a list of the freshest goodies, and then we deliver 1 or 2 days later.
Did you get over here to eat ever?
Yes, for sure. That's part of the joy of it. This year was a fantastic year, weather-wise, produce-wise.
The question always is, well, what will next year's weather bring? You know, we're in the midst of climate change, and so we don't know.
Mother Nature could bring whatever. We just need to be resilient.
We started out with a dozen chickens and 3 goats, and now we have all of this. You know, little by little we've grown and through a lot of effort.
10 acres in Indiana is small, but we work every inch of the 10 acres.
And the hope that we're making even a little bit of a difference in people's lives. You know, they're eating really fresh produce, really healthy, foods.
The friends of our kids who would help us on the farm before we had a crew, they come back and they visit and they say, on my resume, I put that I worked on your farm, and in my job interview, they asked me, you baled hay? Sure, that stands out. Anybody that can bale hay should be hired in a minute. Just that feedback is, it makes you proud, for sure.
We are the owners of the property, but in my mind, we're actually the stewards of the property, you know, and so we want to make it better than what it was when we first bought it, and, you know, when the time comes and to hand it off to the next generation, we hope that it's just a little bit better than where we found it.